Hey guys, so today we're going to be making some herringbone bands. So my dad has expressed to me how he wanted a silver band that he could wear outside while he did yard work. He does a lot of landscaping. During the summer, the wedding band that he has is so thick that he's unable to wear it because your fingers swell in summertime. Half the year he can't wear his wedding band. He's tried using the silicone bands, he doesn't really like it. So he asked if I could make him a silver band that he would be able to use during yard work. So we're gonna go for something that's thin, durable, not super girly in design, a more masculine style ring. So I was searching the internet for styles of bands that I knew I could make at a beginner level. So the specific tutorial that I followed is making herringbone bands, a silversmithing tip from Chad's Silversmithing. I will be recreating, in a sense, a band based off of the herringbone style and based off of how he had used herringbone style and kind of doing my own little twist on it. No pun intended. I'm going to be making a band of like herringbone wire and then on top square and square. This is a very horrible drawing that I did really quick just to explain. So I will be having a band of square wire on top and bottom, and in between will be the herringbone strip of metal. So I'll be taking you guys with me during the process of making this specific ring. Again, the inspiration came from Chad's Silversmithing herringbone band video. First things first, we need to pick out our metal. So I'm doing sterling silver 20 gauge. It's really thin, well, not like really thin. I think it's a good thickness for what I'm going for, mainly the thin enough to work in, but thick enough to not break, if that makes sense. I will be using my 20 gauge wire. I also have a surplus of 20 gauge, so that's another reason that if this doesn't really work out so great, I have more to use to get better and to use for practice. So I did already off camera make the two bands of the herringbone wire that I will be using, but I will show you guys how I did that. So you take a strip of your 20 gauge, I cut it off right there. So I have a little bit, so you want to make sure you do this twice, and I'll explain why. I'm gonna hook it onto this rotary tool so that I have something to pull it against. You want to take it and fold it in half, just like this, and pop it in. Secure it in some way so that you can twist it. This is personally the way I do it because I don't have a drill to twist it, and I also don't have a nail to hook it on or anything. Then I hand twist them. I would like to use a drill for this, but I don't really feel like going to find one. And I just like the consistency that I get from hand twisting. You want to remember the exact direction you're twisting. So I'm twisting this way. So I'm twisting to my right. And so you want to make sure you take both hands and twist at the same time, otherwise you won't get a consistent twist. So I just take it and I twist it and I keep going until the very end of the wire. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can always go in with your nylon pliers and do some extra twisting just to make it tighter in places that it might not be as tight. That way you have a consistent twist all the way around. I'm not making this one super long because I think this is gonna be like a simple band maybe. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it a band for my mom so that my mom can have a matching one to my dad's ring. Perfect. So you just keep twisting, keep twisting, keep twisting. So at this point, you can use your nylon pliers. I like to use my nylon ones just so I don't leave any indentation in the wire. And I pull on it a little bit just to straighten it out a little bit more. And I'm just gonna take the bottom and twist it like so. We have our first twisted rope strand. So we're gonna make another one twisting the opposite direction. All right, so again, take your metal, fold it about halfway, or try to find the halfway point. That's not halfway. Try to find the halfway point. It is very wonky though. So I take it and just start twisting the opposite direction. So I twisted this way for the first one. We're gonna twist this way for the next one. You have to make sure that your pieces are twisting the opposite direction. Otherwise, you're not gonna get the herringbone effect that you're looking for. And again, if you have a drill and you can do this with a drill, I definitely recommend doing that. You can get a much tighter twist. I just don't know where my parents keep them and my dad's busy, so I don't want to bother him. All right, I got to the point where I can't really twist with my hands anymore. Oh wait, am I going the wrong way? I think I am. Oh no, wait, oh crap. Okay, I went the wrong way and tightened it more. Okay, coolio. So now we have our 2 strips, and I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you can see the rest of what I do. As you can see, we have our 2 twisted designs. You can see how the design will look a little bit later on in this process after it's soldered together. You can see how it kind of just looks like a braid, like a fishtail braid for my hair girlies. So what we're gonna do to make this a more consistent groovage, I guess, make it more consistent and also easier to solder, is we're gonna hammer these down a little bit and flatten them out. Although I do like the rounded look, I feel like it just looks a lot better once it's hammered down a bit. These are the bands I'm using for my dad's ring because they're very masculine looking. I've seen him, he has a chain that kind of looks like this a little bit. So I feel like it would be really cool to have that style where he can also use it to match his chain, you know? It kind of looks like a tire maybe, tire tracks, you know? Tire tread, whatever you wanna call it. But this is it after it's flattened. So I finished hammering. I have it at the thickness that I want and the, I guess, texture, maybe? Design? I'm just going in with my file and I'm kind of filing down the edges that I'm gonna solder it next to. It has a flush connection and it'll stay soldered after shaping and everything like that. Now we have it sitting a lot more flush. So I am going to use some binding wire to make sure that they stay laying flat and secure together. So I did some wire wrapping off camera, put my old skills to use, horribly by the way, and just wrapped a good portion just to make sure it all fit tight and neat, just so I can put a little bit of solder down and then let it cool and then add more solder along the way. This is just so as I'm soldering, the piece doesn't come apart because that would suck and that would be really annoying. So let's get into soldering. So hold on, let me take my mask off. I can breathe now. So I went through and I soldered one of them together. I just wanted to do this one off camera, the smaller one, just to make sure I got it down before showing you guys. It worked pretty good. I think I got all of it soldered on pretty good. I'm just going in on the very in-between and just kind of squishing it together on the parts that are a little see-through, like right here. And I'm just kind of closing the gaps with my pliers and pushing them down really close together. And then after pushing them down really tight, I solder it together. Starting with this side first, I'm just gonna flatten out all the extra little wires that, the binding wire to make sure it's not in the way and it's not doing anything weird. So we're gonna start right here. These next to where I binded the wire is going to be the most tight knit spots. So I'm gonna start soldering near the edges and work my way down and just get a basic first layer of solder going where I can actually grab the piece, I can take off the binding wire and work with my piece and see what spots need more solder and so forth and so forth. You now want to add your flux, lay it down on, heat your flux up. It's going to start to bubble. White little bubbles will form where you put your flux on, which is really good to see what you're doing. All right, and then I'm taking extra easy solder just because there's not going to be a lot of soldering in this project. Specifically that I do need a lot of different types of solder. I can work with just one and we're good. So I'm just going to cut off a bunch of different little chips and lengths of this solder wire. So you're going to take it and start to heat it back up. I'm taking my little solder pick and I heat up my solder, pick it up with my pick. Oops, I just smeared it all over the block. Okay. And I'm just gonna add it where I need it, and it kind of just easily melts off. You wanna float around with your flame so that the whole piece gets hot, not just the concentrated area that you're working on. And as you saw, or as I hope you saw, it did just melt the solder into that spot. Inspect it. So I do like to pick it up with my tweezers and kind of inspect where I soldered to make sure that there is a flow there. So as you can see, it did solder all the way through. So because this piece is so big, I am gonna hold it with my third arm on the end just to keep it upright, just so it doesn't wobble off the table like you saw in a clip previous. So it looks like I got some good joins here and there. I'm just going to end the join off here, obviously, because it's the end of the line for this one. And then I'm going to unbind all of them and work my way along and make sure I get all of the gaps filled in with some solder and silver. I actually don't like this ending. It's not really joining at any point where I would want to solder. So I am just going to solder it right there, and then cut it off and end it there and use this for scrap or other detailing on different pieces. Normally, I would not be picking up a piece right after flaming it. Well, that's not true. I actually would do that. And then burn my fingers. But because the length of this is so long, I don't really have to worry about like burning myself by picking it up at the end. Tap it first, test to see if it's too hot, because you don't want to burn yourself. So now I'm going to unbind this hoe. After my first unbinding, I realize I never soldered this end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do so now before I completely unbind it. Otherwise it'll be really difficult. All right, so I have my solder laying on there and my flux. Just gonna heat it up, get the bubbles forming. All right, we're gonna let this bad boy cook. So one of my little tricks so that I can grab it pretty quick is I take this little spray bottle. It's not rose water. I know it says it's rose water. This is just an old bottle, but I just fill it up with water and I just kind of spray it. I'm gonna spray it out here though. It's like a quicker way of cooling it down so that you can grab it. specifically so I can see if it fully attached itself and soldered. Looks like it did. Trying to pull it apart and it's not coming apart. So yeah, resoldered. Now I can actually take the binding wire off this time. So basically I am just gonna take off all of the binding wire and rebind it where I need, just to have a really strong, tight tension between the lines. So I'm just gonna go along on the inside seam and just keep adding more solder here and there, depending on where it needs more solder and where the gaps need to be closed. And that'll be done for this herringbone style stick. So I'll show you guys that once it is done and after I pickle it. So we have our first stick. I did put this in the pickle pot a little while ago while I was soldering the longer strip. So the long strip is in the pickle pot right now, and I have our short stick. I already cut it out and measured it to fit a size 12 for my dad. And it's looking really pretty. So I'm now just taking some square 18 gauge wire and cutting it out to length, flattening it out, and we'll be soldering it together to make the band. All right, so I wanted to show you guys my setup here. So got the square wire cut out to shape and it's looking really cool. I'm liking it a lot so far. I'm really excited. I bind these two sides and I'm soldering in the middle and on the edges, and then gonna do the same exact process, pretty much the same exact process of where I went in the seams and soldered, but with the extra pieces of wire. Okay, soldered one spot, now we're going to the rest. All right, I'm a little nervous. I have my stick ready and I am just gonna shape it in a ring form and fully connect it. So it looks like when these parts meet, they're not fully like a flush fit. This side is flattened more than this side, so I'm gonna pull these apart and just go in with my hammer and flatten the middle part out a little bit more just to make it an even cross section. I can do one more little hammer pound. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's literally like perfectly there, I think. OMG, it's literally perfect. Oh my gosh, this thing is gonna look so cool. I'm really excited. Oh, I hope my dad likes it. I think he will. I mean, I think he will out of worry to not hurt my feelings, but we'll see. I'll show my mom it and see what she says about it, but ooh, I'm excited. Okay. I don't want to get too excited because I don't want something to go wrong and then we have to redo this. So I haven't soldered anything. I wanted to do it on camera with you guys. For now, I have my dad's ring. I have to be quiet because I think he's inside or he can hear me. I have it sitting flush, ready to solder. I have a little mini version of this, just the inside look though. This will be for my mom, just so there's like it's a matching set. And I'm making these into little hoop earrings. They're not gonna be too big, more of like little dainty huggy earrings, but you know, just like a little set for my mom, and then it matches my dad's ring. Or if my mom doesn't like them, I will be taking them. So I'm just gonna file the edges down, make them flat, and then cut some strips for the earring wire, and again, make everything sit flush and solder it all together. I'm going to hammer it down to size and see what we're working with. We have both of the rings done, at least soldered. I'm gonna throw them in the pickle pot and start on the earrings. Guys, I am so excited with how everything's turned out. Earrings look dope. The rings, oh my gosh, I really think my dad is gonna like this. I'm really hopeful he will. Same with this one. I think I'm gonna call them the tire track rings. Loving it for sure, and very excited to get these polished up, which is what I'm actually about to go do. So I'll show you them after they're done being polished. Oh my gosh, guys, I am ecstatic. Okay. Starting off, we have the hoops. So we have some dainty, simple hoops, nothing crazy. And then we have the dainty band that matches the big band, like a couple set, I guess. I'm very happy with both. This one's super dainty, super cute. Really good for stacking. And this, the whole reason I started this project, I want to cry. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I really didn't think it was gonna look this good. I'm so proud, like for real. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I'm really, really excited to, and it's so like it's so durable. Like it's really hard. Like I literally cannot bend it out of shape, which is great because my dad can use this out in the yard and I don't have to worry about it getting destroyed. I think it looks super cool. Hold on, let me take my other ring off. I think it looks super cool, and with it being a ring that is more, I don't know, it's like flashy but not. Like it's like there's design obviously, but like not an insane amount. It's enough to notice, I guess, up close, but not enough to where it's like eye-catching and like gaudy or anything. So like I really think my dad's gonna like it, and I really like it personally. I absolutely am like so proud of how this looks. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so ecstatic with how these turned out. The sad thing is I have to wait a whole month and a half. I have to wait a month and a half before I can give it to my dad. His birthday is July 27th and today is June 18th. So I have to wait forever to give it to him, but I'm so excited. I think it looks so good and I cannot wait to give it to him. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys can use this as inspiration, or maybe you learned something from this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe if you do feel so inclined. I hope you guys have a great night. If you have any ideas or anything you'd like to see from me, leave down below. I will let you know what he thinks of it, and maybe I can see if he'll let me film it. Possibly. I don't know if he'd want to be filmed. I love you guys. Prayer requests, leave in the comments below. You know the drill. Okay, love you guys. Bye. Mwah.